Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Noeleen Hammond-Jones. I am the International Career Consultant. I work here at the University of Manchester, and I'll be doing the presentation today on Prepare for the Grad Fair 2019. Just to make sure that everyone can hear me okay and they can see the screen okay. If you could put yes in the questions area, that would be fantastic. So just say, that's great. Let me just move that over there. Fantastic. So this session's going to be recorded and it will be available on the University of Manchester Career Service YouTube page. So if you do miss any messages today, do head over to the University of Manchester Career Service YouTube page and you will find loads of presentations on there, but you'll also find the recording for today's session. If you do have any questions, I will take them at the end of the session. So just again, post those questions in the question area. So to start off, why should I attend the fair? A couple of things really is why it's important to attend the fair. Not only is it just about jobs, it's also about meeting representatives from companies that you might be interested in, and also to meet representatives from companies you've either not heard of or you hadn't realized would be an area of interest for you. So it's a really good networking opportunity to meet face to face with people, learn about these companies, learn about what they're looking for, and explore possible career options you might not have considered previously for whatever reason. And it's a really good information gathering session. Equally as well, it's, you could potentially secure a chance to interview if you make a really good impression with an employer at the event, and also secure an internship or graduate job depending on what it is that you're looking for. Companies there will be hiring across different sectors, and I'll show you the different companies who will be attending. If you are interested in attending the fair and there are certain companies that you want to see there, and I'll show you where it is, but do check out the list of employers and research them thoroughly before going. And we'll go into that a little bit more detail as we go on. So the benefits of attending the fair, and I don't know why I have China Fair here. Hang on, let me go back. The benefits of attending the fair are around, there we go. We'll start again. Are around meeting employers face to face, finding out what employers are looking for from a range of companies, including national and international. You get an opportunity to ask some brilliant questions from these employers that you wouldn't get online through Google or Glassdoor or various other platforms that you look at. Also, it's an opportunity to build your awareness of different sectors and what's on offer. And getting the contact details of employers as well is key for your application. So you can mention in a covering letter or application, or even in a face-to-face interview, that you've gone above and beyond, spoken to representatives of the organisation, gotten some really great insider knowledge of either the recruitment process, the application process, what qualities they're looking for in candidates from an employee, and that shows an employer that you are motivated and keen to work for their organisation. Before the career fair, be prepared. Know what your objectives are. Are you looking to get a job, or are you just looking to research what's on offer? Are you looking to speak to recruiters? Be prepared before you go, and be able to articulate, talk confidently about your skills and your strengths, and think of examples to demonstrate these. So give it, if you think that teamwork is a really good strength of yours, then think of a good example to demonstrate that to an employer. If they ask, oh, so why do you think you're a good fit for this company? And you understand that from researching the company, teamwork is a value that they really that they really want to see in potential candidates. You can give a good strong example of working well as part of a team. Always have a copy of your CV and covering letter with you. I know it's a little bit old school at this stage, and a lot of the employers will ask you to apply online, but sometimes having that tangible piece of paper that you can hand to a recruiter if they ask is a great way for them to remember you as well, so they can have a physical copy of your work history and academic history that they can refer back to at the end of the day. And I have seen on occasion students handing their CV over and being referred for interview straight away based on, you know, how great their CV is. If you're not confident about having a copy of your CV or covering letter, and you don't feel it's strong enough, do come and see us at the Careers Service. You can always pop in to the atrium, which is on the first floor of University Place on Oxford Road, and see somebody. But you know, we have a lot of resources on our website as well, on the Career Service website, for you to look at around helping you write your CV. So you're not alone, and it is sometimes, you know, it can be a bit of an onerous task, but don't be put off writing your CV. And like I said, there are plenty of us around to help if you do struggle in getting your CV prepared. Practice your answers. What are you looking for at the job fair? You know, tell me about yourself. Why are you interested in our company? What makes you a good fit for this organization? Have answers to these questions. These are the questions that get asked time and time again. And companies will expect you to be able to, you know, demonstrate your commercial awareness. What do you know about them? Who is this company? Who are their competitors? Where do they operate? You know, how do they operate? Are they doing something new, something innovative? This is where the research is absolutely vital. Know which companies are attending the fair, and this is where if you go onto the Career Service website and just put in Grad Fair, you'll find that a list of exhibitors is there, and this is the most up-to-date list now that we have, and there are companies from all sectors that are coming to the fair, and it's a really good idea to have a look at this page before going tomorrow. Really research who is coming, what opportunities are available through these organizations, you know, and some of them are global opportunities. They're not all around Manchester. There are some national, international opportunities here as well. So you can see there's a lot of well-known names that are coming to the Grad Fair as well, and it's a great opportunity to explore potential options you've not explored before. In addition to that, researching the companies, look at their specific websites. So in order to research them and demonstrate that you know who they are, do the following. Look at their company websites. What are they doing? And then also as well, the Manchester Network is an excellent platform for our University of Manchester students to access alumni for advice and guidance. There are about 3,000 alumni on there who are specifically on that platform to answer your questions. And they're from all over the world, all different sectors, from every kind of job you can imagine. They are on there. Just put into Google the Manchester Network and you can use your university username and password to sign up. The listed, somebody's asked, the list of companies, if you want to look at the list of companies, they're all on that page. The exhibitor page is up to date and that has a full list of all the companies who are attending tomorrow. So do have a look, check it out, and make sure that you have looked at this properly. In addition to that, the Manchester Network being a great place for advice and guidance from mentors. You never approach a mentor or an alumni potentially asking for a job, because that can make anyone feel uncomfortable. But going in there and asking for advice and guidance, how they got into the sector, how they got into that organization, have they got any hints and tips for you, things that you might need to know. Is there something new on the horizon that can give you a bit of an edge when speaking to a recruiter? In addition, maintain the right attitude. Always be polite when you approach a stand and introduce yourself. You know, your name, what you're studying, the University of Manchester. Be conscientious when taking freebies. Don't just jump in there, grab a freebie and walk off. Try and have a conversation. You know, I know the freebies are great and we all love a freebie, but it's there to be a talking point with the employer and to get you engaged with that employer. So do be conscientious when taking them. Not all companies have immediate openings, so some of them are looking at the market at the moment, and they will be opening up roles in the next few months. So again, don't expect all companies to have jobs right this second. Don't ask what jobs do you have for me, because they don't know you, and it's a bit of a confronting question. If you are interested to know what kind of roles they have, ask that question. So, hi, I'm really interested in working for your organization. I'm studying whichever degree you're studying at the University of Manchester. I'm interested in a career in accounting, finance, marketing, engineering. What kind of roles have you got available for graduates who have this kind of background? That is appropriate. But by going in with a question like, what jobs do you have for me? It puts people on the back foot, and it's not a good impression when you speak to a recruiter straight off. Keep an open mind to organizations. Some opportunities might surprise you. So where you would think, for instance, if you're doing human resources or marketing and it's an engineering company, they also need marketing and HR people. So do keep an open mind as to what organizations have to offer. And view a careers fair as a networking information gathering event. Yes, the end goal is to get a job, but in order to get a job, your job is like a project. It's ongoing, it's lifelong, but you need to put the work into it, and that includes the research. So make sure that you do get as much information as you can. Be assertive and approachable, and take initiative. So, be confident, not too arrogant, but being confident in your abilities, having nice conversations with people, making sure you leave a good impression with them, and take the initiative to approach employers. Don't wait for every employer to invite you over to the table. If they're in the midst of a conversation, don't interrupt, but if they're standing there, do go across and say, hi, I'm really interested to hear more about your company. My name is, and go from there. Your introduction to an employer, and I get asked this a lot, how do I introduce myself? What do I talk about? What if they ask me to tell them a little bit about myself? What do I say? So your introduction is just a quick insight into who you are. Keep it short but informative, and tailor it to each company. So for instance, obviously you give your name, why you're at the University of Manchester, why you chose your course, and what year you're expected to graduate. If you're involved in any additional activities outside of your course, so any society work, sports clubs, if those are relevant to the sector you're going to, highlight them. What kind of graduate role you're looking for, mention your strongest skills, don't mention any weaknesses, don't give them a reason not to consider you. So avoid talking about any weaknesses, and why this company matters to you. So you could say, hi, I'm Noeleen. I'm studying marketing at the University of Manchester. I'm in my final year. I'm involved in the Marketing Society and the BAE Con Society, and I also play football. I'm really interested in graduate roles around marketing and business development. Where I really excel is around developing marketing strategies, social media, and it'd be really great if your organization had any graduate roles that were available in the marketing area. I'm also really interested in your organization because whatever that might be. So you're keeping it short, you're keeping it informative, and you're tailoring it to that organization. And do practice this a couple of times. You don't have to massively tailor it every time, but do have a little bit of something in your introduction that is relevant to either the sector, the role, or the organization. Also, questions to ask employers is really handy. Again, these can be conversation openers as well. So what do you like best about working for your company? Show an interest in the recruiter. Don't just use them for information and disappear. Show an interest in them. Hi, how do you like working there? And, how did you get started in this sector? And asking about the company culture is really useful, because although you may have always wanted to work for this organization, if the company culture isn't a good match for you, you might change your mind. What skills are most in demand in your industry? So understanding what the company might be looking for, or are there any skills gaps as a result of this question that you identify? Maybe they're looking for people with certain skills or knowledge in, I don't know, a software developing language that you don't have, but it's something you can look into working on yourself. So it's worth asking that question in order to reinforce that you do have the right skill set, or maybe identify where you're missing skills or have a skills gap. How can I stand out from other candidates? So again, this is how you can communicate, asking the question, what can I do that makes me stand out from the rest of the crowd? And how can I, market this effectively on my application, or highlight it on my application so that it stands out from others? And these people are here, they recruit on a daily basis, and they have all the insider information. And what advice do you have for me in regards to entering the industry? Have you got any advice for a new graduate who's interested in a career in engineering, or a career in marketing, or a career in public relations? They're working in that industry, and they can tell you the latest developments in that industry and what might be of interest to you going forward. And you could also use this information if asked at interview. So CV, this is just briefly going through a CV. Again, all the information around CVs you can find online. If I go into the University of Manchester Career Service website, you can see we have applications and interviews here. By clicking on applications and interviews, all the guidance you need on writing a CV is here. All the guidance you need on writing a covering letter is here. So everything you need is on the Career Service website. You don't need to log in to get it. It's all available on the website. So before I go into CVs, does anyone have any questions about introductions to employers, or questions for employers, or anything that I've just spoken about before I go into the do's and don'ts of CV construction? If you do, just put it in the questions area, and I will see if we can get through them. Okay, so everyone seems to be okay with what I've covered so far around introducing yourself to employers. Can it be visually appealing? Like, I don't understand what you're asking. Can you rephrase your question? First impressions do count. I would say if you're attending the grad fair, don't do so in shorts and a t-shirt if the weather's nice. Do try and look smart. I'm not saying you have to be in a suit by any means, but don't try not to be in trainers, try not to be, looking like you're going to play football in the park. Try and look smart and presentable if you're going to the grad fair. Oh, right. So in terms of CV, okay, so this is a question around the CV then. So I will go through what does and doesn't work for CVs. If you are going for the creative industry, something visual, something very art kind of focused or visually focused, then a creative CV can work, something that is not your generic kind of professional document, something that is a bit more colorful, yes, it can work. But if you're going for a finance role, consulting, they expect a standard document, and anything outside of that, they just haven't got the time to dismantle, basically. You get maybe 6-7 seconds with an employer and a CV, so it needs to be easily scanned with the eye. It needs to have all the best stuff on the first page. If you go into too much visual, tables and boxes and graphs and all different fonts, it's not easy to scan. An employer, unless it's a visually artistic field, will not give it the time of day. Okay, so how can I ask about specific job roles during the introduction? Just ask. I mean, the the simplest advice I can give you is that these individuals are human beings. They are just like you and me. This is a conversation. You're not expected to ask a question and have a specific answer within a specific time set. This is just your opportunity to ask any questions that you can. So if you're asking about, if you know of specific job roles and want more information on them, then just ask. If there's a specific graduate level role that you're really interested in, you've read the job description, you're not really sure of a couple of points and want some more clarification, ask. Even better, bring along a printed copy of the job description and just, oh, I was wondering, it asks here for X, Y, and Z. Can you just give me a little bit more information on that? If they can, they will. If they can't, they won't, basically. So don't be afraid to ask. If you're looking for more specific information on what jobs are available, have a look on Careers Link first of all, because any jobs that they do have, we will have on our Careers Link page. So if I go back to the Career Service webpage, if you go into my account and then current students login, if you log in there, all the vacancies will be on there as well. So you can do a bit of research on there, and you can search by organization as well. Okay. All right, so we're going to go and what to do and not to do regarding your CV. So hold your CV at arm's length. If you can still read it, great. If the font size is too small, then and you have tiny margins, it just looks too much. So it needs to be easily scannable by the eye. I need to be able to look at the CV within 5 to 6 seconds, make sure that chronologically it's in reverse chronological order. You've got all the clear headings, clear structure, dates are on the left-hand side because we scan left to right in the UK concerning dates. Then it'll be easy to look at, easy to scan through. Line up, attention to detail at graduate level is crucial. If you've got different indents at different points and boxes and different columns, it just looks a mess. Try and not put in columns and boxes, and it's a very simple document. Just use the space to make it clear. Break up text with bullet points, short sentences. Don't use too many capitals. If you use capitals on a CV, it looks like you're shouting at somebody. And don't use more than one font throughout. That's it. Don't use 3 or 4 or 5 fonts. I tend to use Calibri size 11 throughout, and the only thing that I change or make different is the name. So I always have the name size 14, but it's still Calibri font, and the rest of the document is size 11, and I bold out headings. That is it. You don't want to go with different colors and changes in font. It just looks like you lack attention to detail. Have a logical structure, clear sections and headings, and get the good stuff on the first page. That'll make them want to turn to the second page if you have a 2-page CV. In the UK, CV is 1 or 2 pages. If you're going for finance, investment banking, consulting jobs, it's 1 page. If you're going for any other job in the UK, it tends to be 2 pages. If you're going for jobs in the US, it's 1 page. So be aware of what is expected in your industry. Convince an employer. So this is your chance to highlight your skills to an employer. This is your marketing document. Your CV is your marketing document. This highlights to an employer all the good stuff, all the great stuff that they need to know about you. So things like starting bullet points to describe job roles or your role in roles of responsibility that you've had in society. Start each bullet point with an action verb. So if you set something up from scratch, or you did something from the beginning, you founded or launched or introduced. If you fixed something or I don't know, reorganized, resolved, transformed, recreated, developed. These are things that you can put on there, and that shows an that you were responsible for the reorganizing of. If you reorganize something, say that at the start. Don't make me read through half a sentence to find out that you reorganize something. And never use the phrase, I was responsible for, because again, I have to read 4 or 5 words in before I find out what that was. Try and quantify the information you have on your CV. So if you worked as part of a team of 10 people, say it. Be results orientated, have outcomes. If you said, I wrote a report on housing in Manchester, when I read that, I'm like, why? Who for? What was the results of this report? Who did you give it to? How was it used? You know, ask those. Then I want to know that. So again, try and be um, results orientated, and stress the personal involvement. Of course, we want to hear the odd "we did this, we did that," but it's I. And use recent experiences from all parts of your life when talking to an employer. Don't use the "I was president of my football team in 2002." So try and use more recent examples. So just to give you an example of the typical CV kind of job, I suppose, that I get to see quite often, because a lot of students do work as waiting staff or bar staff while studying. And this is what I normally see, something along these lines of serving customers, clearing tables, handling cash, occasional bar duties. It doesn't tell me as an employer what you're capable of. It doesn't tell me if you can work as part of a team. It doesn't tell me if you have time management skills, problem solving skills. It doesn't tell me if you're a good communicator. It literally tells me nothing about you. This is the same job, exactly the same job, just reworded. So, worked well as part of a team in a busy restaurant serving over 300 customers per evening, helped to train and support new staff. Used excellent customer service skills and attention to detail to ensure orders were taken and delivered quickly and accurately, and awarded Customer Service Award 2017. Worked flexibly as required between bar and restaurant to ensure high service standards were maintained at peak periods. Suggested improvements to layout of menus and drink cards to improve look and clarity. Used creative and IT skills to make samples. One of these is now in use in the restaurant. That tells me so much more in terms of this. It's the same person doing the same job. They have just formatted it in a way that shows me that they work well as part of a team, that they're creative, innovative, that they work flexibly, that they're a great communicator. There's so much in those 4 bullet points that gives me a different perspective on that individual. Any questions on this so far? If you do have any questions, if anyone's sound or visual keeps cutting out, it might be your Wi-Fi. So if you can just be patient. When applying for a marketing position in the UK, is it better to have 1 or 2 pages? 2 pages. When listing the spoken languages, would you specify the level of proficiency? Only if you are fluent or advanced. If you are a beginner in a certain language, so let's say we have beginners Italian, don't put it on there. And the reason I say that is in case one of your interviewers is Italian, or is fluent in Italian, and they ask you what they would consider a beginner's question in Italian, like how are you, and you don't know what they're saying, it can be a little bit awkward. So I would just add the languages that you're good at, basically. I hope that answers that question. Right, I'm going to move on. So, top tips for the fair. Dress for the job you want. Please do not turn up in shorts and trainers. Do try and dress smart. Shoes, trousers, top, obviously, but a smart top, please, not a t-shirt with, and please don't wear t-shirts with really inappropriate logos either. It just doesn't look good. International students, do not talk about visas or sponsorship or hiring of international graduates with recruiters. They don't like it. Basically because the person who's there representing the organization is not a visa expert. They are not trained to talk about visas. They're not trained in tier 2 visas or tier 5 visas. So again, just get as much information as you can, apply like everyone else if they're on the sponsor register, but please don't talk about visas. Demonstrate passion and motivation by doing your research and being able to talk about the company confidently with the recruiter. Be commercially aware, know who they are, what they do, what their sector is about, what's happening in the sector. Don't use negative language or offer up weaknesses. Don't say, hi, I'm really interested in your organization and I want to do marketing, but I'm not really good at social media. I'm getting better, but I'm there's better people out there and I'm not really great. But again, you're just giving them a reason. They have that many applicants, you're giving them a reason not to bother. So only be positive. Don't talk about your area of interest if it is not relevant to the employer. So if you're interested in a finance job, don't talk about your love of human resources if that is a love of yours. And don't waffle too much. Try and have a nice conversation, but a relevant conversation. Take along your CV and covering letter if you can to the fair. Print these off beforehand. There will not be printing facilities at the fair, so do bring them along beforehand. Understand what skills you do have and are they transferable. Avoid a weak handshake. The worst thing is when somebody comes up and goes hi and gives you their first like 3 fingers and then kind of looks like they want to give you a handshake but then pulling their hand away. It's awkward and it's not nice. If you don't do handshakes, don't offer a handshake, but if you do, make sure it's a nice firm handshake. Don't shake the arm off somebody, but don't give a really weak handshake either. And have some questions prepared. Take notes if you need to, and politely ask the recruiter if they wouldn't mind you having their business card. If they do mind, they'll say, I'm really sorry, I have a policy of not giving out my business card. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. You'll get that throughout your life at conferences and everything else, but ask the question, do you mind if I have your business card? Okay. And if so, can I connect with you on LinkedIn? Because that's the way forward. Also, for those of you, my colleague Delia is doing a great session on engaging with recruiters as a disabled student. So if you are interested in attending this session, it's tomorrow morning, 9 till 10:15 in Chancellor's Hotel in Fallowfield. You can sign up with that bit.ly link, bit.ly /Grad Fair 2019. If you don't get to sign up beforehand, do just turn up and I'm sure there will be spaces there available for you. So for those who want to get advice directly from recruiters and disability specialists about disclosure, what it means around reasonable adjustments and support in your application process, then please do go along. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic session. And finally, do speak to us. We're located in University Place, or the Big Tin Can, on Oxford Road, first floor in the atrium. You can go online and make an appointment through Careers Link, or you can use the phone and give us a call. And we're going to be at the fair, so there will be a load of us there at the fair to help you along. So we'll be at stand 99, careers information on the ground floor. And then if you want a bit more one-to-one support, we're also upstairs for longer appointments on stand 109. There will be information when you arrive around where everything is and where everyone is. So don't worry about finding us. We will be very, very visible. All right. So I'm going to end the session there. If you've got any questions, do ask and I will try and answer them. I'll give it about 2 to 3 minutes and just post the questions on your questions area. I hope this session's been useful for you, and do make the most of the fair. Like I said, it's a great opportunity to meet employers from all different sectors and just to get a feel for each organization. They're always going to put the best stuff on their website about how great they are, but there's nothing better than speaking to someone face to face about what it's like to work there. Okay, so I'm getting no questions through. I'm going to end the session shortly if I get no questions. Oh, in case we aren't sure in advance upon what particular positions they are offering, I'm going to wait for the rest of that. Oh, your covering letter. So if you're going to bring a covering letter and you're not sure what roles are on offer, just keep the covering letter about the company. So covering letter, 1 page, 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, why that organization. If you know they have a specific role that you're interested in, then put that on there. So why the role and the organization. But if you're not sure, you just talk about why the organization, what are they doing that's innovative? Have they got a great graduate recruitment system? Have they got great training, great development? Are they top in their field, top in their sector? Are they doing something great? Have they got a fantastic social, corporate social responsibility agenda? Is it their values? What is it about them that makes you want to work for them? Second paragraph, what have you got to offer? What are you bringing to the table? Why should they hire you? Is it your enthusiasm, your passion, your problem solving, your experience, if you've got any relevant experience or any internship experience or just general any experience where you've gained transferable skills? Get it on there. And the third paragraph is, I look forward to working for you. Yours sincerely, and sign it off. Where do we find the list of participating companies? So the list of participating companies, as I showed you earlier, is on the Careers Service website. So if you go into careers.manchester.ac.uk/events/Grad Fair/exhibitors, and this is the full list of the Grad Fair exhibitors. So we have Abercrombie and Fitch, Amoria, British Army, Brookson, Capita, CRCC, Dark Trace, Department for Education, EREC Estates Limited, FDM Group, Future Fight. There's so many companies coming. So do have a look and see what you can get from that full list. Okay, so we see up here /events/Grad Fair/exhibitors. Other than grad scheme, does the exhibitor offer any entry-level position for September? Some of them will. They will. Not all companies do grad schemes. So some will take in smaller numbers of individuals. They might only take in 1 or 2 people. So yes, do. And some do recruit. I have seen the odd recruiter recruit on the spot or recommend somebody straight away from meeting them in person, seeing their CV, seeing their covering letter, and that person has just been, they've done so much research. They're a shining star, and that recruiter, I've heard them on the phone saying, "Hi, I've just met somebody. They're absolutely amazing. We really need to get them in and interviewed." So yeah, it does happen. So be prepared. And the slides, the session was recorded, so they'll be available on the University of Manchester YouTube page. So if you haven't gone on there, just go University Manchester and then YouTube, And if you Google it, it'll come up as the top one, university, and then just put in here, just after YouTube, careers service. And you will see we have our own YouTube channel. So go in there and you will find everything that you need regarding help, advice, and also this webinar will be on there as well. Okay. Hope today was useful. Hope you got some kind of insight and help and a little bit more confidence from attending today's session. Like I said, these recruiters, they're human beings. It's a conversation. Do your prep beforehand. Check out this exhibitor list. See if there's any particular companies on there that you're really interested in. If there are companies on there you've not heard of before, click on the link or Google them, because they might be someone that actually operates in your field of interest and you just not heard of them before. So do a bit of research tonight before you go tomorrow, and we will see you there tomorrow. And have a great day and good luck everybody who attends. Bye for now.